Hi all, this is Peter Davis from Jigsaw Trading. I'm putting this video together for a couple of reasons. First of all, for Christian that asked me how do I spot absorption, but also because we've had a change in liquidity over the past few weeks. There's a couple of reasons for that. Possibly one of the reasons is the end of quantitative easing. The other is the new CME regulations, which are effectively put in place as an attempt to stop market manipulation. Now, obviously, one of the things that they're going to do as stopping manipulation, of course, is to penalize people for spoofing. And there's already been a few people caught out for spoofing. One guy just made a couple of $1,000. He's going through the ringer right now, very obviously trying to spoof the market down by piling contracts onto the offer. So people are getting caught, and obviously that could be one of the reasons liquidity is down. And also it could just be that the market does change frequently, and it could just be that the market's just going through a period of low liquidity. So this could be a permanent change, could be a temporary change, could be because of QE, could be because of CME regulations, could just be normal run-of-the-mill change in liquidity. But certainly this isn't my comfort zone in terms of trading. So as well as doing this for Christian to say, okay, this is what absorption looks like, I'm taking a step back as well, doing some recordings of the market so I can basically assess for myself, okay, take a step back, look at some recordings. How is the market working? Where is your edge? What things that you usually look for aren't working well? What things that you might not be looking for are working well? Is this lack of spoofing now going to actually help in some way? So for instance, we can see at 75 there, I've got 927 contracts offered. That's probably likely to be real now. And if that's real, are we going to see certain quantities that are actually going to hold the market? So as we look at this market that's changing, and like for me, it's not in my comfort zone, it's possible that there are new edges here that we're not currently exploiting. So it's not all bad. And I think that the people that take a step back and try and have a look, okay, well, it's changed, how is it reacting now? I think those people are going to have a bit of an edge in the market. So I'm trying to do that myself, basically, take that step back. And it's possible that, I might need to tweak my approach. Also possible that I move to a different market with the liquidity I want. And you can see the FESX over on the left, looking very thin for the FESX. I might end up moving to that market. So the focus is absorption, mostly to show one of our new customers, okay, this is what absorption looks like, but also just to review for myself to get my head around how the liquidity is working now. So as we look at this, we can see that the bids and offers are very low, or almost all below 1,000, which is very rare for the ES. It's almost half or less the liquidity we're used to. We can see that as we're trading into levels, the current trades columns are the most important things for looking at absorption, because we want to see what's actually executing at levels. We're averaging, 2 to 500 per level, basically. So we can see 440 hitting into the offer as we move down. That's about normal. So for absorption, we're really going to be looking for 7, 8, 900, 1,000 as an outlier, basically. So we can just see the market now. We can actually see up at 75, we've got 912 contracts, and waiting for the market to hit that. We've also got that high in the step in the profile at 1976. 1976, 10,000 contracts traded. 76.25, we've got 4,300 contracts traded. So that's probably an area of interest. Doesn't mean we're going to short it, but certainly an area of interest. So let's just watch as it goes up to this 75 area and see what happens. I do apologize for the microphone noise. I have no idea what's going on with my microphone. Just need to get a new headset, I think. But every time I move my head, it seems to make a funny noise. So 75 so far, 225 contracts traded, and we've got 700 left. Let's see what it trades again as we move up there. Well, obviously, we need. Okay, so let's watch this on the way up. Okay, we got a little bit of a push. And then a pause at 75.75. We've got some sellers, a couple of sellers coming in, but not really enforced. They're selling in 75.25. We've got absorption at 75.50, 600, nearly 700 contracts. 75.25 as well. They got through that. Sellers got through that. So you've got both sides. Okay, then 1,000 contracts total 75.75. So watch this. It's not going to turn on one price because it's a thinner market, but we've got some absorption at the top. Now we just need to see some big sellers come in. We've got buyers up to 75.75. They're not getting anywhere. The buyers there at 75.75 are going to be very nervous because of that absorption. Okay, here comes a big seller, another big seller. Okay, so that's your confirmation. Now what you want to try and do is get a good entry price. Okay, so you've got the absorption, you've got a few guys selling in. Now you can join those guys and we see the market come up. So we've got sellers, big sellers, selling down to 74.75. Okay, we don't have absorption at 74.75, but we have paused basically. And we've got sellers at 74.75. Okay, sellers down to 74.25. Okay, the sellers there need to keep momentum. Sellers there are going to start bailing if it doesn't push through. So this is not absorption. This is just basically sellers pushing the price down and some big guys coming in, selling down, and then not getting any basic reward for that selling. Okay, so 74.25. Let's keep an eye on 74.25. See what happens when it comes back to that price. If it comes back to that price as well. Okay, buyers coming back in. So as the buyers come back in, we're going to look at these prices. We had the absorption before. Come back down. Are we going to get back to 74.25? We came to 74.50 and nothing traded there. That's not a good thing for the sellers. So we've got that absorption above us. Is that absorption area going to hold in light of the fact that sellers just pushed it down to 74.25? It went up. Sellers pushed it down to 74.50 again. Didn't even trade 74.50 and it pushed up. Now can we get down? We got 74.50 again. What are they going to trade? 196, 200. Not really, kind of a tough place to take along, you know, if you look at where we are in the profile, because I would expect it to get down to 73 at some point. But interesting, the sellers are trying to push this down. Like I said, not absorption. The absorption was above us, like 75.50. But interesting that the sellers are trying to push it down. All right, back to 74.25. And off again. So if you wanted to go long, you know, that would have been enough really. That seeing that the sellers keep pushing it and not get anywhere, that would have been enough to take a long in a good location. But like I say, this is kind of in the middle of the volume profile. It's not really a good location to trade. Now let's just see where we get to. So as we come down, we get to 74.50. Let's just have a look what we trade there. You know, the market is, if you look at the chart, the market is moving up. So we are looking at this potentially to be a pullback. We've got pullback size of 13 ticks, 13, 13, 13. Other pullbacks of 8 ticks. So as we move down, we're in about the right area in terms of pullback size. So we move down to 74.25. And not a lot of contracts, 74.50, but you know, a decent amount of contracts. Moved down to 74.25. They didn't want to trade much. We got big sellers, big seller at 74.25. We can see big sellers coming down. They want the market to go down. If they don't, they're going to bail out. Okay, so we had 667 at 74.50. Okay, let's see if they have another attempt to push down. Where do they get to? Okay, hit 74.50, but nothing traded. This isn't absorption. This is just weakness, basically. They've had a good go at selling it down with the large trades here. Come on, 74.50. The sellers want 74.50 to trade. We want 74.50 to trade because we've had the absorption above. We want it to carry on down. Okay, so 74.75 traded, 488. Can we get through 74.75? 500. Okay, 800. Okay, so it seems like there's like an invisible line in the sand. We got 74.25. We couldn't get through it. Then we got 74.50. Couldn't get through that. Went down to 74.75. 900 traded. Couldn't get through that. So we kind of had them stepping up all the way up. Now we're back to where we had the absorption. Okay, got more sellers coming in here. So is that invisible line in the sand? 74.75 is kind of the line in the sand. That's where they last absorbed on the way up. So if we pop through 76 now, this area, we've got longs. Shorts are going to be nervous because of this absorption on the way up. Shorts will be happy if we break 74.75. On the other hand, shorts are going to be really unhappy if we pop through 75.75, basically. So if we pop through this, shorts are going to basically start to bail, partly because of this step in the profile, where we got 76, 10,000 traded and 4,300, 76.25, but partly because we had a lot of guys step up and absorb a lot of contracts there, and obviously if they let that go, they're going to need to unwind that position. Okay, so we got some sellers kind of pulling out of the way. Okay, so looks like they're trying to crack it to the upside. So again, not a tricky one to trade there from like the 74.50, 74.75, because you're in the middle of a step in the middle of an area on the profile, not a great location. But you could just see as it was moving up, it would come back, but then each successive pullback was kind of shallower. And now we've got absorption, 76.75, 1,200 contracts traded. Okay, what we want to see now is a few big sell orders coming, right? There we go, 1,200 contracts, added 900 contracts, 1,500 contracts. It's not all going to happen at one price, 1,600 contracts. This is absorption. This is somebody stepping up, clearing the current trades there so we can get a clearer picture. But 1,762 contracts all at one time, that's absorption. We've got a few big buyers, big sellers, sorry, come in. This is where you short. This is where you can take a short. You're not going to short the top because the absorption happens a lot. But you take a short there because basically you've got this, the sellers come in. Then you want to try and get a good price. So you don't just short it and take any price. You know, if you could have got 76.50, you'd be okay. And now we're coming back down. Now we're at a step in the profile, 1976. We need to get through that. 600, 700 contracts trading there. Not what we want to see on the way down. We now need to see it push through that. Okay, it's pushed through that. Potentially we've got to move to 73 here if we can keep this. As long as we don't get sellers shying away, as long as we don't get absorption on the bid side, we should keep going down. We've got two prices now where we've done over 600 contracts. Not massive, but big enough to cause concern. Okay, so the sellers need to push through there, and it's at a step in the profile as well. Okay, so can the sellers push this down? Remember 74.25, 74.50 area we talked about before? That was kind of where this up move started. An 8 to 13 tick pullback has been the norm as well. So that's on our minds. Okay, it looks a bit dull. We might want to skip to the next area now. Okay, so watch this pull down. Okay, back to 75. Can we get to 74.25? We've got 700 contracts, 73.75. 74.75. So this is where the bidders stepped in last time. Down to 74.25. Sorry, that's not where the bidders came in. This is where the sellers faded away. Sorry. Okay, we've got some sellers down to 74.50 on the recon tape. That's 74.25. Got through 74.25, 52 contracts traded. What we want to see, if you want to take a long here because it's where they kind of got caught up before, you just wait for a couple of big buyers. And if you don't see them, just don't go long there, basically. Okay, 74.50. We've got a lot of sellers selling down to 74.25. So if we spend a few more minutes in this area, they get nervous and start to bail out, and that would help us go back upside. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll pause the video here and then go to the next area of absorption, because this is really not just a general market commentary. It's kind of looking for absorption. Let's just stop because we've got 600 contracts, 74.25. 666 is slightly ominous. Let's see what we do here. 800. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see what happens at the next couple of levels. Total is 2073 traded there. See if we got one big buyer in there. Okay, we're moving up. We don't have any big buyers in here yet. So we have had the absorption, but there's no push up yet. This is probably one I would have missed if it goes back up. Okay, and there it goes. Okay, so if you're long there, I mean it is moving up overall. If you're long there now, you're looking just to make sure there's no absorption on the right side, on the offer side. Okay, so we've gone through the 74.25 area. The next area to look at is this step in the profile, 73, 72.25. As we come to it, we can see 73.50, 1,000 contracts traded. It's just short of the step in the profile, but that should be good enough. Let's see if we can get some buyers step in. Okay, it's a couple of big buyers, and they got somewhere straight away. So we could take a hit at 74 now. If we're not cautious, wait for it to, if we're not sure, wait for it to come back to 73.50 and see if we get some more trading. But we seem to have flipped the buyers are coming in and having a good go at it now. We got 900 trade at 74, and hopefully if we can get through that, buyers will be happy. Okay, so we had the offers absorbed 955, but we got through it. So our line in the sand now would be 73.50. We really don't see trading much through there. Okay, so there's a little absorption. So sometimes it's just a matter of seeing 1,000 or more on here. Obviously, when the market thickens up, that 1,000 is going to turn into 2,000 or 3,000 that you're looking for. So let me just skip to the next area. Okay, so we're coming back down to 73. We talked about it earlier where we had this step in the profile. So let's just look at the absorption here. So look at 72.75. Contracts 940. You see them adding contracts already, 600, 700 contracts, 1,045 trade. Let's clear in the level numbers above because I think it's going to go back up. So basically we have a step in the profile. We have a lot trading all in one go. So it's not cumulative quantity after many hits. It really is just that one hit, just seeing that a lot trade in one go. Okay, and we can see, if we look over on the right, we can see we had sellers selling all the way down to 72.75. What you got to think about when you see those sellers selling down, that's fuel to your fire on the way back up. So anybody that's sold is actually not a seller anymore, they're a buyer because they have to buy to unwind. So when you see them sell down and you see them sell down to 72.75, get down to that level, and you see the absorption, those guys are going to be nervous when they see that, and if they're just short-term players, they're going to, bail out basically. But the key is to have that happen at a key inflection point. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we're going to look at another case of absorption. This is less clear. If we look at the total here, 1,300, we just had 1,000 here at 72.75. We're trading there now 300. We're adding some contracts. Trading 655. In this case, it's not absorption at a single level. It's over 3 or 4 levels that we're seeing this. We're seeing the sellers selling it down 72.75. We've seen a few buyers come in. So we traded about 800 contracts at 72.75 on the bid side. So now to 72.50. Okay, it's not really absorption at 72.50. 500 contracts, 600 contracts. We're pushing down. We've got like a mix of red and green now. There's no one side really dominating in terms of their efforts on the market order side. Okay, so 560. So as we're coming down, we can see a lot of trading going on at these levels here. It's more of a two-way battle in this case. We can just see, if we look over here, look at the numbers stacking up over here. And this would be a trickier case, and this is one of the things about the market being thinner. You've got to expect this kind of activity to take place over a number of levels, because basically, these inside levels, we only got 100 contracts sometimes on these inside levels. and it can very easily just go through that with one trade. So you can't expect this all to happen at one level. If we look now, 1600, we've got a big chunk of trades here. This is more like two-way trading where a lot of people are positioned either way, and when it comes out of that area, one side's going to dominate. So maybe in this case, what you need to be thinking about if you see something like this is you might let it play out and maybe lean on that area when it comes out of the area. Okay, so we now see we've moved kind of to the top side of this volume area. If we pop out, then we can take a long. We should actually travel to, maybe to 76 if we can pop out of here. So this is like a trading range, and with the trading range, your job is to try and buy the bottom or sell the top, and then maybe hold when it breaks out. So what you'd be looking at here is, maybe trying to get in at 72.50 if you're picking a side basically, which you have to do. Get in at 72.50, maybe scale some off at 3 or 4 ticks, and then try and get a runner. So basically, what we're looking at is kind of initial absorption over a few prices that then turns into a range, and then when it turns into that range with that node or that few prices with a lot of volume on both sides, you have to kind of figure out, play one side basically. To an extent, it's almost irrelevant, especially in a market like this where it's not very directional. It's almost irrelevant which side you trade, as long as you know that when it gets out of the range, you're done basically. You're on the wrong side. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, so looking at the chart, we can see we've moved up. We seem to be rolling over now. So let's just watch the market move up here. We've been trading like 500-600s. Get to 74.50. See 400 trading. We can see they're adding contracts as we trade up there. We're hitting it a couple of times. A couple of big guys in 74.50. Somebody bought, hasn't got through. 600, 700 contracts ticked through but came back down. That's absorption. Not a huge amount yet. 900. We've ticked up through it. So can we hold it? Can we hold it? 56. If we trade 300 or 400 above, I'd say, well, that's probably not holding. Let's just see how it trades. Okay, we've got 300. Came back down. Now let's see if we can hold that. See if we can get some big sellers coming in. Again, slippy market. It's not going to all happen at one price. Okay, so the absorption, again, all we're looking at is just different, an exceptional quantity at one price. Now, obviously, what we can see on the chart is maybe the chart looks like it looks like it wants to try and roll over. Anyway, on to the next one. Okay, for the next one, we'll look at something slightly different. We're back to where we had the absorption before, the 1400 contracts there, and where the market looked like it's going to roll over. So you've got a lot of people positioned short, where the markets look like it's going to roll over. You've got this level where we have the absorption here. So let's see what happens when this level breaks. You can see this level's broken, 180, and watch what happens now as it moves up like that. When you see those moves up like that, that's often indicative of traders getting stopped out. As is also, we can see basically on the chart we had something look like topping action. We've got a high to the left. We got up there again. We rolled over a little bit, and then the sellers came through that area where we had the absorption before. Oh, sorry, the buyers came through that area. We had the absorption before, and as it got through there, we popped up. Now after that pop, what have we got again? We've got this little bit of absorption here. We've got this 900 here. We're at the top of a range in the volume profile. Again, we're seeing now we had that absorption there after that pop up. Partly, you can see the absorption in the quantity, but partly because obviously it stopped the pace of the market, flew up, then it stopped to that top. Now it's coming back off, coming back to where this step in the volume profile, 16,000 traded here, 8,800 traded here. Can we push down through there? Okay, so we've got that absorption up there. Doesn't mean it's going to hold. Does mean you've got potential for a short. We saw sellers coming in, selling it down to 75, not got any more traction. Okay, and now looks like we're going to get through that area again. They're trying to push through it. You see the absorption, you see them holding it. 1,000 contracts. This is absorption. This is absorption. Doesn't mean it'll hold. Okay. Let's see if we get some big sellers coming. What we want, tick down a little bit, see some big sellers. Are we going to get that? Or is it going to pop? Now, right now, we've got the potential for another pop. Because of this absorption, the guys that tried to hold that are obviously going to bail if they don't hold it. Obviously, with all those big buyers, there is a good chance this is going to pop through here. So you'd have to be pretty cautious playing absorption. It's not something you want to play every time you see it. You have got to weigh it up. If we see some big sellers now and they actually get some headway, so we've got a seller at 76.25, and they get some headway, and he can keep that 76.25, so he's lost the 76.25. Another seller, 76.25, can he keep it? No, struggling to keep it. So we're seeing some selling and not getting anywhere. So we will move on to the next one. But obviously we got the absorption turned into a range of prices. We got some volume. Really doesn't look like a good short right now. On to the next one. Okay, so the last one. Again, pushing back up to the high of the day. This is kind of picking tops, which isn't an ideal way to trade. I'm not a big fan of picking tops, but let's just look at where the absorption is. Okay, so 78.75. $680. So you're looking at two things for absorption: the pace and the quantity. So your pace, you've moved up into there, and then all of a sudden it stopped and started to trade a lot of contracts at one level. Got 78.75. Some big contracts selling into, buying into it. So we've popped up, and again we said, we can pop up through these areas. It's a less liquid market. Let's just look at what's trading on the bid side up there. Ideally, we'd like, for absorption, you'd really like to see, you got these big buyers. We really want to see those big buyers get trapped. So we've gone through this area, this 78.75 up to 79.50. We've got more absorption, 1,300 contracts. Lots of big buyers all the way up. Okay, 79.75, 1,400 contracts. Sellers are now coming back in. We've got some large sell orders. So where'd you get in now? You've seen this 1,400, you've seen the sellers come in. Where'd you get in? Well, this is where you have to kind of be ready to miss trades, I think, because really you've got that bit of confirmation now. But if you get in too low, sell too low, you're going to get caught out. If you could get 79.50 at this point, offer 79.50 and get a fill, that would kind of be ideal. Obviously, you might not get that, but there's not a lot in front of you. You've got 300 in front of you now. So let's see if 300, it's 160 in the queue. Okay, you'd have got a fill at 79.50. And you really don't want it to go to press up too much more. But again, this is a pick in the top type of trade. And it's not what, it's not what I do. But basically you've got the absorption up there. You've got some sellers come in. You've got trap buyers. All you need now is you need it to push down a little bit for your trade to be successful. So we've got a couple of big sellers. You need to see them hammer it, dunk, 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 a few ticks down to really get the momentum going. Obviously, the first block here is this step, 77.50, 77.75. That would be your first blocking point on a short trade. Not necessarily your first target, but certainly you've got to be looking at it might get to 78, 77, 75 and not go any further. Okay, so basically that's it for absorption, and a look at what can we do in the market becomes less liquid like this. Just this process of reviewing and making your own videos and then reviewing them, see what's happening, is going to help you for the following day. It's going to put in your head the kind of activity that's going on. Okay, we're back up now, back up to where we had the absorption. Are we going to fail? Are we going to go through it? If we start to see lots of minus signs here on the offer side, then they're going to pull out the way and we're going to bail. You could, it's a difficult one because if you put you're going to get through stops pretty quickly. So you could put a stop order at 80.50 to get out if it goes up there, based on this absorption we had here. So basically, remember the key is you want to see a lot of contracts trade at one time. It's not over time, because as it retraces levels, it's going to build volume at prices. It's really important that you see the big volume on these center columns, which is trading this time round. That's when they're stepping up. Trading through a price 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times and building 2,000 doesn't really mean this absorption. That's just kind of normal trade, basically. So that's it. I hope it helps in some way. Good luck with these thinner markets, and don't be afraid to turn it off for a few days. Don't be afraid to switch marks to something thicker if it's not your forte. Thanks.